This video is going to be a hard one for you if you look like me. Now, not necessarily my facial features, but my skin color. If you're black, you're African. Now, whether you live in Africa or the diaspora or wherever you are in this world as a black person, particularly from African descent, this video is for you because today I'm going to be breaking down the psychology behind why we are not where we should be on wealth as a race, or why we are behind on wealth as a race, behind every other race. Why white people have more money than us, why the Jewish people, why Chinese, why other races are better off financially than we are as Africans. Now, I am proud to be black. I love being African. I'm a Pan Africanist, but the truth has to be said. And the truth is that we are not where we should be financially. And despite having superior physical and cognitive abilities, and even a deeper spiritual connection, and also we have lots of natural resources in our continent and even human resources as a people, but yet we are still behind wealth as a race. So I'm going to be breaking that down today. So I want you to pick up a pen, pick up a notebook, because this video might be what saves your bloodline and get all of you wealthy. Let's get into it. And for a fact, I know that a lot of our resources, our riches, were stolen from us during the transatlantic slave trade. So countries, big banks, corporations stole from us, exploited us as a people, and it still happens till date, which I find really funny and outlandish. And we are part to blame for that. We don't harness our power enough and we let the wrong people be in key positions of leadership. So this thing is still happening where our wealth is generally stolen from us and the continent and its people are still in a bad place financially. But that is for another day. We'll talk about that on another video. But today I want to focus on the mindset that cuts across us as a people. The mindset that keeps us stuck and the reason why we can't build wealth personally. I mean, on a personal level, and which also, affects how our society, how wealthy or how rich our society is. If you've read The Richest Man in Babylon, I think it was in chapter 2, chapter 3, or 4, one of the early chapters, the author said that on the summary of that chapter, the author said that the wealth of us individually determines how wealthy the society is. So the reason Africa is, I don't want to say poor continent, but the reason we are not rich as we should be is because personally we are not wealthy enough. Per capita GDP is really low. And apart from, like I said earlier, how things were stolen from us, now in the new age, there's still some mindsets that keeps us in that same place, which I'll be addressing in this video. And I see this mindset, like I said, it cuts across black people all over the globe. I see it particularly in Africans in the continent. I see it in Caribbeans. I see it in black Americans. I see it in black people in Asia, everywhere. Now, I'm not saying we all think this way. I'm not saying we all have this particular mindset that keeps us behind financially as a race, but majority of us, have this flaw, think this way. We have this bad mindset and it's keeping us stuck. And today I'll be breaking down the reason why we think this way and how to fix it, solutions to prefer, to make sure that if you're watching this video and you're African, you can build wealth. The first reason why we are behind as a race financially is because we have it all wrong when it comes to building wealth. Meaning, we think wealth is built through good jobs when wealth is actually built through having profitable businesses. What that means is that we have displaced beliefs about money. Now, let's start with our parents. With all due respect, our parents had no clue on how to build wealth. And for majority of Africans, this same mindset transcended to to future generations. Now, I don't really blame our parents because if you go back to the 60s, 70s, 80s. A lot of African countries were just opening up. They were just getting their independence. And at that time, there was not much information in the continent. There was not much to do. And black people all over the world were still very much segregated. I think the Jim Crow law was still, in America, in a lot of places around the world. Black people could not even marry another race. We were still like really segregated, and the continent was just kind of opening up. So when our parents were pretty much our age, the good jobs were was what made people successful. Being a lawyer, being a doctor, being an engineer, the holy trinity of respect for like African parents and African homes. But the mistake that they made was that they didn't adapt to how fast the world was changing. The truth that they didn't tell you is that jobs keep you working. They are not built to make you successful. They are just built to make you part of the society, to contribute to the society. Now, that's a good thing. But today we are talking about building real worlds, not being part of the society or getting along. Now, they pushed a lot of us towards jobs when they should have pushed us into entrepreneurship. And that's the reason why so many people got stuck. And if you grew up in a typical African home, there's this urge to like please your parents. So a lot of people that had entrepreneurial spirit, entrepreneurial mindset, that had business plans because they wanted to please their parents because their parents, went through so much to put them through school or whatever. They went into jobs, and the way the world changed right now is more beneficial if you're an entrepreneur than you're working a 9 to 5 job. I live in Nigeria. If you're a doctor in this country, your salary can't even keep up with inflation. Like, how do you even survive here having just a stable job? And the thing is, like, yes, we are in Africa and a lot of people don't get paid that much. And inflation is crazy in most countries, especially in Nigeria. So having a job is not even in your best interest. You simply can't build wealth with having a job, except you stay for decades. Now, why would you even stay in a job for decades when if you put that same energy into a business, you have a profitable, successful business? And the thing is, your salary is capped when you're working a job. I don't care if you're a doctor, lawyer, engineer, scientist, whatever, you're working for a company. Now, an entrepreneur owns that company and they are making the real money and they are paying you crumbs from it. And you most likely live in a shit economy and you can't keep up. So you're just going to live in circles for a long time and you will never get wealthy. And because you never really built, wealth through entrepreneurship, there's a high chance that you pass that to your future, generations, to your kids, to your grandkids, except maybe they come to have their own mindset and become entrepreneurs and business owners. So what I'm trying to say is that the main reason we are behind world as a race is because we prioritize jobs over entrepreneurship. When no matter how much work you put in, you could work 80-hour weeks in a job, you get the same pay. You work for 100 hours, you get the same pay. Now, as an entrepreneur, if you put in extra hours, you sure get better results. The growth might not be exponential, but you're going to see incremental trackable changes. It may not be in your revenue, but it may be in your lead generation, more customers, more reach, more, your business will get to more people. You're just going to see real growth. So we have to be more entrepreneurial than, working 9 to 5s that wouldn't really change our lives. The second reason why we are behind as a race when it comes to wealth is because we do not invest. Now, I can't say this enough. Africans do not invest enough. And this one is personal. I grew up in a low income household. My dad worked for the government. He was a policeman. My mom had like a small retail shop, and she still made like fried pastries, like scallop buns and puff puff. That was basically what I grew up in. But shout out to my parents because with those jobs that wasn't even really much and they weren't really earning that much. They put all of us through school from like primary to like tertiary education. We are all graduates, we all have our BSc. So shout out to my parents for real. But maybe because of their background and because of the information they had at the time, they they didn't talk about investing. They didn't talk about investing in, sure, they wouldn't know about the stock market for sure, but they didn't invest in real estate. They didn't invest in gold, commodities, so many other things. I would say a lot of them is because of the responsibilities they had to carry on earlier on in their lives. Most of our parents got married super early. In our age now, where we are trying to build wealth, that's the time so many of our parents started building families. So I wouldn't really blame them here, but our parents did not talk about investing at all. And I believe your parents didn't either. So we did not invest. And when you go across the globe, it's even the same situation, which I find funny. Now, when I did my research in America, 60 to 70% of white households invest in stock market. For black people, like black African Americans, it's around 34 to 53%. Now, come down to Africa, the people that invest in Nigeria is just 3 million people. That's like 2% of the adult population. In Ghana, is less than 10%. In Kenya, is I think around 2.5% or so. And which 97% of those accounts are dormant. Kenyans don't invest at all. Now, when you go to Zimbabwe, the number is around, I think, 4,800. 4,000 people in a population of millions. That we don't invest enough. Like, retail investors account for 8% of the trading volume in the African markets, both investing in African companies and globally. Now that's poor numbers. Now my example from the start is white households, 60 to 70% of them invest in the stock market. Now, a group of people that invest money will definitely be wealthier than the group that doesn't. You see where I'm going with, I say that we don't invest enough as a people. Now, it's understandable why we don't, because apart from like a few years ago that we had access to like international markets, the infrastructure of investing in Africa has been poor. Now in Nigeria, a few years as of like 2018, it was nearly impossible to invest in the US stock market. You don't just invest, you have to stumble on it. So when I started like learning about the US stock market, I think I was in my second year in college. That was when I was like hyped up about investing. I was like, if I start investing early, I'm going to get rich, much earlier in my life. And I was serious about wealth then. And I really loved the idea of investing because I just want to make money in my sleep, which perfectly makes sense that time and now. So I could find one platform, but they had no access to the US stock market. So I'm like, whatever, I'm just gonna get introduced to investing in Nigerian companies. I set it up. I put money there. I couldn't invest. I put like 10,000 naira, but I couldn't invest. I couldn't do anything. I had to go to their office somewhere in Lagos Island, if you're familiar with that place. And I saw them, I met with them. I'm like, hey, I'm trying to invest through your platform, but I can't. The infrastructure was so poor. Till date, like I can't invest and I couldn't even access that money. And apart from like poor infrastructures, a lot of Africans are uneducated about investing in general. I would say in Nigeria, half of the population have at least secondary education. Most people are mostly uneducated about it. And the third reason is there's not enough dispensable income. We don't get paid that much in this continent. That's why a lot of Africans are trying to immigrate to places like USA, Canada, the UK, places with, even if it's a minimum wage, is much better. A lot of countries in Africa do not even pay by the hour. You get paid monthly, or weekly if you're even lucky, which is super rare. And the pay is not even that big. I'm not sure any African country has a minimum wage of like $7 per hour, like in America or UK or Canada or places like that. So these are the reasons why Africans do not invest in general. But there's a mindset, and the mindset is that like we generally don't like it. Maybe because it takes too long, I don't know. But even if you talk to people that are educated about investing, only few people that are intentional about wealth are open to it. You can tell somebody, particularly an African, about investing, and they'll be like, if I'm not making money right now, I don't want to do it. Like they would rather invest in a Ponzi scheme that invest in the stock market or real estate or something that will build their wealth over time. And this would walk us through the third reason why I think we are behind in building wealth as a race, as Africans. And yes, there was a time that investing was really difficult. So I'm really grateful for, apps like Bamboo, Trove, RiseVest, and every other international or global platforms that's giving Africans the opportunity to invest in all diverse kind of assets. Because as long as I can remember, from like 2018, 2019, you couldn't even access this as an African. Meanwhile, other people from other continents in America, Europe, Asia, they've been investing for ages. So we are really just catching on, but we still have a mindset problem that is holding us back. Before I talk about the third reason why we are behind on wealth as a race, I would love to tell you a quick story. I have a cousin that once made a lot of money in freelancing. He made thousands of dollars. But after the freelancing gig, instead of him to, invest or start a business, he wanted to get rich quick. So he invested the bulk of the money in a Forex Ponzi scheme. Now, you all know how that ended. It did not end well. It wasn't a fairy tale ending. He lost everything and he had to move back home. Now, here's the thing. We don't need more jobs. We don't need get rich quick schemes. We need financial literacy and proper mentorship. And that is why I launched my ongoing coaching 2.0, a program that helps anyone from any race, but I'd be honored to help Black people. I mean, Africans, African Americans, Black people all over the globe build real lasting wealth through smart investing principles, long term thinking, and daily action. If this video is opening your eyes, the next best step is to join the program. It's not hype, it's real. Let's build legacy wealth. I've put a link in the description to book a call with me. You can get on a clarity call and we can discuss how to get you on the program to help you build wealth through investing in diverse assets, stocks, real estate, crypto, bonds, whatever, and help you build wealth in a smart, real, long-term, sustainable way. Or you can message me the word invest to all of my social media platforms, my Instagram, my TikTok, my Twitter, my LinkedIn, even my email. They are all in the description. You can just, as you're watching this video, just scroll down, click on the link, go to my Instagram, message me invest, and we'll get started on helping you build real, sustainable, long-lasting wealth that will span generations. The third, and I would say quite the most annoying reason of why we are behind in wealth as a race, as a people, is because we want to get rich quick. And not get rich quick through a good way. We are trying to get rich quick through a way that will make us victims, that will make us vulnerable. Every Black person wants to get rich now. You can say it's a good thing, you can say it's a bad thing, but it's not sustainable. Like if you want to get rich quick so fast, you always end up being broke. Now, because of this mentality, we are the biggest victims of gambling and Ponzi schemes. Black people all over the globe have gambling problem. Like you see this in Africans, with Africans, you see it with Black Americans, you see it with Black people in the UK. We are always involved in things that would want to give us money fast. And where has it took us? Where have we ended up with that kind of mentality? Nowhere. We are last in wealth because of this problem. I want to give you a funny fact. Do you know what the most searched Google term Google word or term in South Africa was in April 2025. Betway login. Guess how many searches? 14 million. So like half or more than 50% of people in the country are searching a bet. So funny. Searching a bet website on Google. Guess what the next highest search is? Hollywood bets. So we have a gambling problem. The poor gamble, the rich gamble. Now, a lot of people are going to say, oh, like, it's only people that need money that gamble. I have rich friends that have sports betting, gambling addiction. They can't stop. Everyone gambles. I really don't know what they are trying to get at. And the only people winning, the only people getting rich are the bet companies. Like, bet companies are one of the most profitable businesses in Africa. Because like the house always wins. Like that is a popular casino term. So I don't know what we are trying to gain from like always gambling in sports. And some of us put ridiculous amount of money that if we put in the stock market or we put in other investment or put in a business, we'll make so much more profit. Ponzi schemes like CBEX are scammed Nigerians and Kenyans hundreds of millions of dollars. Now, the crazy thing is that most Africans, most black people are aware of the damage that this thing does to us financially. Most times that Nigerians in particular are investing in this Ponzi or pyramid scheme or this they call it ajo or piling money. It's really just a gambling scheme. Let's say this is just Ponzi scheme. Let's say 10 people, I'll donate 2,000 today. The other person will donate 2,000. I'll start paying each other around. Most times they understand that these Ponzi schemes, they know it's a scam. They just want to get in early, cash out so that it doesn't collapse on them. It's sick and it's annoying, and I really don't understand the mindset behind that. If you're trying to like get rich fast, you are always going to be broke. The collective mindset of us trying to get rich right now is the reason we are behind on wealth as a race. And frankly, it's something that has to change. It's something that has to stop. We have to do better. We have to stop gambling. We have to stop investing in Ponzi schemes. And we have to try to build wealth the sustainable and the right way. The next mindset that keeps us behind on wealth is because we spend to feel good. It's a psychological trap. Whenever we feel good, we spend money. Oh, I just got promoted. We're going to blow money. Parties will blow money. Celebrations will blow money. You know, good things happen will blow money. We've attached the psychology of happiness or joy to liabilities when we can do the same for assets. How is it going to be if we say, oh, like, I just got promoted, let me buy more Bitcoin. I just got more money, let me invest in a dividend stock. I just landed a deal, let me start a new business, or let me go buy a business, or let me invest in, something. Let me invest in a commodity, or let me just invest. If we flip that mindset, we'll be much more ahead financially as a people, both individually and as a group, because Africans are very communal. So you're going to see similar mindsets among people. And the similar mindset that we have is that we've attached the emotion of joy to spending money, most times on stupid shit. So we have to change that in order for us to grow financially and become more wealthy. Now, there are much more reasons why we are behind on wealth as a people, but I'm just going to give the last one here, making it five. And these are my own perspective, and I believe they are like the popular reasons why we are kind of stuck financially as a race. And this one kind of like pisses me off, but it's not like the gambling and the Ponzi scheme that we knowingly indulge in. And this one is that we spend money that we don't have, particularly for celebrations. For examples, birthdays, weddings, burials, just events in general. Africans tend to spend crazy amount of money on events. There's a thing called Nigerian wedding. It's a global trend. Now, these weddings are beautiful. They are luxurious. They look really good, well put together. But these things cost tens of thousands of dollars now because it's like a social media trend. There's a kind of like pressure for everyone to have a celebration like that. There's nothing wrong with having a modest wedding. And you'll be surprised how many people would knowingly go into debt to have a celebration like that. For what? To impress people that doesn't even really care about you that much. Like, I know people personally that the money that they spent on their weddings, birthdays, whatever, they could have used that money to start a big profitable business that would serve them even better, you know. But I really, that's why I said it's a mindset that we have to let go of. That you don't have to carry on every tradition or culture from your people. You have to do what's best for you. Go into debt for things like birthdays, it doesn't even make any sense to me. The most annoying are burials. Now, I'm not saying all African tribes or African people spend on, celebrations. I'm just speaking based on my perspective as a Nigerian. Now, about the burial part, I am from the southern part of the country. Um, the fourth largest tribe in Nigeria, Ijo. Burials are like our biggest celebration, which doesn't make any sense to me. It's quite annoying. Why would burials be your biggest celebration? They spend they spend so much money on burials for the old or for the young. I'm not saying it's a bad thing to have a good burial, but why do you have to spend all this money? Now, it's not like you guys even give this dead person if you gave this dead person the money when they were alive, they probably would have lived longer. But no, you throw these big lavish celebrations when they are dead. It doesn't make any sense. Families will come together, family that they don't have any real strong good family business would pull money and do a burial worth thousands of dollars, and they have no family business, they have no investments. Why? Same thing for even like couples that there are some couples that are working in 9 to 5 till dates and they spent millions on their wedding. That would have been enough to get a good, investment that brings back cash flow. Even if you're going to be still working, it's still going to help. It's enough money to start a business that would serve you guys in the long run. It's enough money to make your first real good investment. So this is a mindset that we have to let go of. So if you're watching this video as a black person, I'm not saying that you shouldn't celebrate. I'm not saying that you shouldn't, have these grandiose celebrations. If you can afford it, it's good. Most people can't in this part of the world because most people are not even doing well off financially. So let's just be realistic about things. Most people don't have this money to spend. So if you're not rich, if you're not really wealthy, it's a financial trap to you. And don't even buy the mindset or the idea of I have to do it for my family or whatever reason or it's the most important day of my life. You're gonna have much more better days. You might not have the opportunity to pull this money in a short period of time ever again in your life. So why not use this money to set up yourself up financially for the long run? So just a mindset that we have to change to be better off financially. We can spend hours talking about the problems, but we have to focus on the solutions because the solutions is the only thing that would get us from where we are as a group financially in our world to the next level, to a higher level, to a much better level. And the solutions are quite simple. They are just the opposites of the problems, the opposite things of what I've said earlier that is keeping us in the cycle of, struggling and not growing real wealth as a people. Number one, we shouldn't depend on jobs. We should go build more businesses. Africa needs more entrepreneurs, millions of entrepreneurs to make life better for the continent, to make us richer. Personally, don't depend on jobs alone. Second, we need to invest consistently. Even if it's 10% of your income, 20% of your income, just put something in the stock market. Invest in yourself, invest in assets, invest in businesses. Whatever you can put money back and get a decent return on it, do it. The third one is reject get rich quick traps or I have to stop gambling. Like this one is kind of annoying to me because it's a real problem. I've done like a short form video speaking on these things, how Nigerians love Ponzi schemes, how Africans love get rich quick schemes. Reject it. If you want to grow wealth, they are going to keep you poor. Lastly, let's stop flexing with money that we don't have, especially on events just to please people that don't really care about us. Why do you want to why do you want to do a wedding with 2,000 people in it? Do you know that much people personally? I don't want to get like too personal, but because I'm just speaking on it, I'm just gonna speak on my own perspective. I don't want more than 50 people on my wedding. And that's like family, friends, and my closest business partners. 100 people max. 100 is even too much. You can always do things that would favor you financially. So don't let culture or ignorance rob you of wealth. I'm just here to give you value and help you. And even though you're not a black person, even though you're white, you're from the Middle East, you're Asian, you're Indonesian, wherever you're from, this also applies to you. You know, use this wisdom, use this mindset, and build wealth for yourself and build wealth for your family and your society. If this video hit home for you, click the like button, share this video with someone that needs to watch it, that really needs to build wealth as a black person, or even if they are any other race and they need to learn these lessons. Please share this video with them and like it so that I can reach more people, and subscribe to this channel because we are building wealth over here, real wealth. And as always, success is the only, and I mean the only option for you. I'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you.